to see the cereal box was knocked over and the alphabet letters spelled out, quote, "Take out the garbage, Mom." Recalling a recent high school biology lesson, Johnny didn't attribute the message to his mom. After all, he had just been taught that life itself is merely a product of mindless, natural laws. If that's the case, Johnny thought, why couldn't a simple message like, quote, "Take out the garbage, Mom," be the product of mindless natural laws as well? Maybe the cat knocked the box over, or an earthquake shook the house. No sense in jumping to conclusions. Johnny didn't want to take out the garbage anyway. He didn't have time for house chores. This was summer vacation, and he wanted to get to the beach. Mary would be there. Since Mary was the girl Scott liked too, Johnny wanted to get to the beach early to beat Scott there. But when Johnny arrived, he saw Mary and Scott walking hand in hand along the shore. As he followed them at a distance. He looked down and saw a heart drawn in the sand with the words, quote, "Mary loves Scott," scrawled inside the heart. For a moment, Johnny felt his heart sink, but thoughts of his biology class rescued him from deep despair. Maybe this is just another case of natural laws at work. Perhaps sand crabs or an unusual wavelet just happened to produce this love note naturally. No sense accepting a conclusion he didn't like. Johnny would just have to ignore the corroborating evidence of the hand-holding. Comforted by the fact that principles learned in his biology class could help him avoid conclusions he didn't like, Johnny decided to lie down for a few minutes to get a little sun. As he put his head back on the towel, he noticed a message in the clouds. "Drink Coke." The white puffy letters revealed on a sky blue background. Unusual cloud formation, Johnny thought? Swirling winds, perhaps. No, Johnny couldn't play the game of denial any longer. Drink Coke was the real thing. A message like that was a sure sign of intelligence. It couldn't be the result of natural forces, because natural forces had never been observed to create messages. Even though he never saw a plane, Johnny knew there must have been a skyrider up there recently. Besides, he wanted to believe this message. The hot sun had left him parched, thirsting for a Coke. Oh my God. What did you get from that little story?
Johnny's smile.
Right?
He doesn't believe what
yes.
he wanted to believe.
He only accepted what he wanted to believe. And you see, very often, that was a very clever story that gives us a very clear understanding of how, in a lot of ways, the Darwinistic world that we live in wants to believe certain things. You see what I'm saying here, guys?
Yeah.
They want to believe certain things, and they don't want to believe certain things. But the question is that how can you accept that if, oh, look, here's the alphabets rolled over, take out the garbage, Mom, right? If people realize, okay, duh, that is something someone's telling us that, how can they not believe that not just the universe, but even today as we look at the design of life, could be an accident? 100 trillion accident. It goes beyond ridiculous. It becomes almost moronic. And so that's what we're going to take a look at today here, guys. Is there such a thing as simple life? Could life be just simple, where it could just pop out of nowhere, right? Our conclusion today, my premise today before you is that there is no such thing as simple life. There is no such thing. And because really the goal here is understanding that naturalistic biologists assert that the messages far more than take out the garbage, right, are quote-unquote mindless products of natural laws. And we have to understand. See, a story like that puts it into play, doesn't it, guys? But very often, for some reason, it seems hard to be able to connect with people to help them understand it in that way, right? So really what we're going to take a look at today is spontaneous generation or intelligent intervention. Catch that? Spontaneous generation. Boom! It just happened. Or intelligent intervention. Right? God got in there. Something, a higher power, whatever you want to call it if you're not a Christian, got in there, right? And intervened. So, the example we're going to take a look at here today, with the rest of the time that we have, is, people talk about life being simple. So we're gonna break down one of the simplest life forms, which is an amoeba.
Whoa, take it easy.
Okay? Now, everyone knows what an amoeba is?
No, explain it, bro. Help me out. Help me out, bro.
Those who do not take first year biology, an amoeba is a one-celled animal. Okay? One cell.
One-cell organism.
Organism. Organism. Now, what's interesting about this, I've heard, actually, people said animal, but that's beside the point. It is a one-cell organism. I'll leave it at that. I'll make it. I'll
Simplify.
Take it
Simplify,
right?
bro.
It is a one-cell organism. Now, what's interesting about this is that an amoeba is so small that several hundred of them would make up an inch. Okay? So an amoeba is so small, several hundred of them can make up an inch. Now, key things to take away from today in regards to an amoeba. The DNA in the nucleus of an amoeba is equivalent to all 30 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica. You ever heard of the Encyclopedia Britannica? No. Back in the days, before the internet, there were things called encyclopedias.
What's that?
What does this speak of?
Wikipedia.
Would start with things like the volume A, volume B, volume C to CI, volume CI to CP, or whatever, volume D, volume E, volume F to FH, volume FH, you get my point.
Yeah. Already see.
And the encyclopedia would include many different things. You even have like an index part of it. I remember there was these red. My mom had these red Encyclopedia Britannicas, with a little gold thing on them. And I used to learn so much. I would pick up the encyclopedia, and it was like a dictionary, but like on steroids. Because it had pictures, it had like stories, it had all this stuff. It was really good. Okay. Well, the amount. I mean, if you look at an encyclopedia, it's an incredible amount of information.
Come on.
And what's crazy about this, guys, is that in a one-celled amoeba, right? But we're not just talking about the whole amoeba right now. We're talking about the nucleus. Now, you remember, a nucleus is just part of an amoeba, right? So if this is the one, right? Like the entire thing, the nucleus is like okay, there's a nucleus, right? And we got different things going on over here, over there. All these different things going on inside. But the nucleus is like the brain, okay, of the amoeba.
Yep.
Now, so the DNA found in the nucleus of this amoeba is more than the 30 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? But here's what's really crazy. The entire amoeba, right? The information, the amount of DNA found in the entire amoeba, and everyone knows what DNA is, right? Yes. Deoxyribonucleic acid, right? The ACTG. Remember the building blocks of life? Okay, turning helix. Remember Watson and Crick? Forgot the.
No, bro, sorry. Lost me.
Remember who was it that thought that aliens are the ones that put life on Earth? Crick. Remember that was him. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, right. Remember Crick out of Watson and Crick, guys who made the DNA double helix. He's the one who thought that aliens came and brought life to earth. Huh?
He also got kicked out of the whole science group.
Yeah, pretty sad, right? But it's really funny because even these scientists that get Nobel Prizes still don't want to believe that God could have done it. They said, all right, fine, it couldn't happen by itself. It was aliens. Well, they call it Pence mirror, or direct Pence mirror, whatever the heck you want to call it. What's really crazy is that the DNA found in the entire amoeba is actually up to 1,000 complete sets of the Encyclopedia Britannica. So the DNA in one amoeba, the entire amoeba, the DNA in an entire amoeba is equivalent to 1,000